welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a video on my trip to Europe, which I went to a while ago. It was actually in late July. It's been a while and I didn't think I would do a video about it because I didn't vlog anything, and the reason I didn't vlog anything was because I really just wanted to enjoy it and like live in the moment, experience things rather than trying to capture them on camera. But I did put up a lot of pictures on my Instagram. I was trying to get like an aesthetic feel. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please follow me on Instagram. It's nihadaga16, and I put up a story asking whether people would be interested in watching, and if they would be interested in watching, what questions about the trip. So I'm going to be answering some of those questions and hopefully talk about my experience through the questions. So the first question was, how many days was the trip for? The trip was for almost officially for 8 days, but almost 9 days because my flight on the last day was really late in the night, so I got 9 days. And where all did I go? I went to Paris, Brussels, Bruges and Amsterdam. 3 days in Paris, 1 day in Brussels, 1.5 days in Bruges and 3 days in Amsterdam. I went with this company called Trips and Tales, which is a backpacking company, and they put together these awesome trips to different places. You should definitely check them out on Instagram. You'll get to know everything about it. So before I went for the trip, I was looking for a tour sort of thing, but I didn't want to go in the traditional Kesari, SOTC kind of tour groups, because I feel like they're for a little older age group, and they actually I feel they hurry through the places, 8 countries in 10 days, and that's not the kind of experience I wanted. I wanted to really explore all the places that we go to. So I luckily came across Trips and Tales on Instagram, and I came across the same post of the trip that I went to, and in the caption they mentioned all sorts of things like pub crawls in Paris and river cruise and canal cruise in Amsterdam, or countryside or cycling tour, and I was instantly hooked because that's the kind of thing I wanted to do. And I think it's an amazing concept because it's backpacking, but it's the best of both worlds. It's really cool hostels and you get to do everything that you want also. The next question is, how was it going on your first alone out of the country trip and first trip in general? So yeah, that's another big reason why I didn't film, was because this was my first trip outside the country, outside India, and it was totally worth it, worth the wait. And it was the first time I was traveling alone, as in I went with the group, but I didn't know any of them before I went. So it was a group of strangers at first, and I totally loved it. I feel like it was such a big learning process for me because the experience started way before I even went for the trip. It started with applying for the Schengen visa, which is a visa for 28 countries in Europe. And it is a process where you don't really get to know if you've gotten the visa until for almost a week. You give your documents to a particular office where they are not actually people from the country or the embassy. They just collect your documents and then it's sent to the real embassy. I think it's in Mumbai, and then they get a check. So it is a process and you don't get to know on the spot, and it's a very unnerving and it gives you a lot of tension because you don't know if you've gotten the visa. And my parents were really keen on making me do all the work, and they were like, it should be an learning experience from you. You should do everything on your own. So I did it with a little help from others as well, and I think it was a big confidence boost for me because initially the visa got rejected the first time, and it was really heartbreaking. I mean, it's disappointing, right, when you put in a lot of effort and things just don't work out. So the second time I applied, and this time I put in all sorts of documents, everything that could be possibly needed I put in there, and at the end of it I got the visa in the second go. And I think it was such a big learning experience because you feel more independent, more self-confident after you've done the whole process, and you've done it on your own, so you feel more, accomplished. And at the end I was like, I totally deserve this trip after putting so much work into the visa. And that's another thing that I learned through the trip and through the whole process was, you see all these pictures on Instagram of people on vacations having a lot of fun, and you're like, wow, I wish I could do that. But there's a whole story behind that one picture. Instagram doesn't really let you, express all of that unless you write a lot of big captions, and then it conveys it to other people. Going on my first solo trip was a little solo trip outside the country with people you don't know was a little at first it was a little scary and a little nervous, even though I was super excited and I totally was ready for it. But again, it's a little scary, right, because you're doing it for the first time and you don't really know. So yeah, it was a big learning process, and yeah, that was my experience. Was this a totally random group of people? Yes, it was a totally random group of people, and that's another cool thing about Trips and Tales is that they put together their trips are made for people between 18 to 30, I think. And again, so that makes you travel with people around your same age. But I was 18, I was the youngest in my group. One of the questions is, would you do something like this again? If yes, with the same people or different? Yes, of course I would do this again. It was so much fun, and I totally feel like I lucked out and I was blessed with the group that I got, because everybody was just so much fun. I remember coming back to the hostel every night and just laughing about something that had happened, or playing Uno, which was we had a blast playing Uno. So it was a lot of fun, and I don't think so it would be really possible to get the same group of people, because everybody is doing their own things and is all over the place. But imaginatively, if that was possible, it would have been great. The next question is, what was the most memorable moment of this trip? And that's a very difficult question to answer, because a lot of things were very memorable. I actually had done a lot of, not a lot, but some research on the things that I wanted to visit, the places I wanted to visit. So we went to a digital art museum in Paris. We played in front of the Eiffel Tower, the water in front of the Eiffel Tower. That was fun. And then we were once sitting in the gardens in front of the Eiffel Tower, and a guy proposed to a girl, and there was a very happy moment. And then the other things, in the hostel and playing Uno with everybody in the group, it was just so much fun. I remember laughing till my stomach hurt. Then there were other moments where I went to the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam on my own, and that was one of the moments I think in the trip when I was on my own, and I figured out how to use their app to get audio about the paintings that I was seeing. That was a special experience, because again, I was doing it on my own, so it felt special. Another moment was when we just came across this ice cream shop randomly while we were going to the Anne Frank house. I put up a caption on one of my photos on Instagram that explains this. But we loved the place so much that we went back to the place on our last day in Amsterdam, just so that we could have that ice cream. And we were really tired that day, and we didn't want to walk all across the city to get that place. So we were you know what, let's just check out the Uber. And the Uber that we got was a Tesla. And yeah, that's how we sat in a Tesla. It was a very giddy moment. It was kind of oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. Another very memorable experience was we were sitting in this restaurant in Bruges. I actually like Bruges a lot, because it's a very old town, very quiet. I really like that. But we were sitting in this restaurant for dinner, and it was just the three of us. It was me and Malvika and Pranav, two other friends of mine. And Malvika was like, dude, I know this guy who's sitting at that table, and he really looks like that actor that I know. It's him, it's him. And then for half an hour, during our meal, we were stalking him on Instagram and seeing his locations, if he was around Belgium, and figuring out if that could be him, and looking at different angles of his face to figure out if it's him. And she was like, dude, why would an actor be wearing a cap in a restaurant? Why would a person be wearing a cap in the restaurant? Because it's not even sunny, and actors do that a lot. And she was like, it's him, it's him. Finally, at the end of when he was leaving, she went and asked him, and it was him. It was Ryan Eggert, and she was just so happy because she loved him and adored him. And I actually haven't even watched the series that he was in, or any of his movies, but I was just so happy because he was such a sweet guy, and he took a selfie with us and talked to us, and just the vibe from him was so warm and nice. So that was a very memorable experience. I remember we were smiling after 15 minutes after that as well. Another question is, khana kaisa tha? The food was great. I'm vegetarian and I don't drink, so I'm pretty sure my experience was a little different from the others. But whatever I had was also amazing. I tried crepes and macaroons in Paris. Crepes is not that amazing, because it's basically feels like a version of dosa, if that makes any sense. But again, it was the other food that we had was amazing. The waffles in Belgium were amazing. I remember we got 3 waffles so that we could share and try it out. And within 20 seconds, all of them were gone. We had hogged on the waffles because they were so good. Okay, so another question is about the Anne Frank house, how my experience was there, and I think that was a completely different experience for me. I had heard about it a lot, so I really wanted to go there, and I had read her diary when I think I was in 7th grade. So I was really looking forward to that, and I had gotten those tickets with so much difficulty. That's a completely different story. Maybe I can tell you a little bit about it. So the thing about the Anne Frank house is that 80% of the tickets go up on sale online. 2 months before the day that you want to go on, and most of those tickets are sold out like within 1 or 2 days because it's so like popular. And 20% of these tickets go on sale on that day that you want to go to. So I like put like alarms like before 9 o'clock because that's when the tickets go on sale. And I was like ready for it with my card, with my phone, and there was an online queue of about 500 people, 540 people or something. And then the online queue, like I kept refreshing it and it went down, went down, went down. It came to 0 and it was sold out. Then I luckily refreshed and there were like about 250 more people on the online queue, and then it so happened that it went to 0 and we got the tickets. And that was also, I was like, oh my god, like I put in all the details of my card and the OTP went to some other phone number, and that phone number that was in some another phone, that phone had like 3% battery, but I still got the OTP. I put it in quickly and then I finally got it, and I was like, yes. When I finally got it, I like yelled in my hostel. I was like, finally got it, the tickets. But it was completely worth it because it was such a different experience. It was so emotional. First of all, the place, the house, the museum, whatever, is so well put together. The experience is something so different, and it's such an emotional experience. I know a lot of people, including me, I just wanted to cry by the end of it because it's such a emotional story, and it's a completely different experience. And I really think that anybody who goes to Amsterdam should go to Anne Frank House because it's such an experience. Okay, so another question is about where I purchase my outfits from and any inspiration for outfit styling. So I'm the wrong person to ask this because I don't know, I'm not that great with clothes. I'm okay, I think. Another interesting thing about this is that I looked at a lot of videos on YouTube about like Europe style and like Paris style, and it's a very there are lots of videos about how not to seem like a tourist, which is not like basically meant for us because Indians you can recognize anywhere, and you know that we're not natives, obviously. But I was just watching those videos for the sake of it, like for the fun of it, and there are a lot of videos on how to not stand out as tourists. And there are a lot of videos about the scams like that tourists get into, and they were all very interesting to watch. So I was watching them, and there are a lot of these styling videos on how the style of Paris people and like Europe people is very basic, and like neutral colors, not very loud. And then you'll never see them wearing like athleisure, like sporty clothes for normal like wear. That you will only see them wearing when they're going to the gym or something. And I noticed that around me, and I like that kind of style. I like those neutral but still looking very like powerful and nice and chic clothes. So that was fun. I am the wrong person to ask for like where I buy my clothes from. I just buy it from like normal places like H&M and stuff. Next question is what kind of people you met there and who was the most interesting. I don't know if I already answered this question throughout the video. It's been a very long video, but from the people who we met there was like we went for a pub crawl on our first day in Paris, and we met like another group of people. It was a bigger group of people, and I met there. Everybody was really sweet and drunk. So I actually also got to experience that whole like how are people when they're drunk, because I've never really gone out partying when I'm at home. How people were when they were drunk, but like sort of in a controlled environment, so it was safe, but still I knew I didn't want to ever drink and be that kind of a person, because honestly some people were creepy, but in general I think everybody was really nice. And I went to walking tours in two places. I went for a walking tour in Bruges, and I went for a walking tour in Amsterdam, and those were very lovely people. In Bruges there was this very old lady called Janine. She was very sweet, and she was telling us all she told us this whole story of Bruges in a very fun way, like a whole big story that she's old and she's grown up there, so she knew everything, and she made us like try out like some chocolate there. Even in Amsterdam I went on a walking tour, and the guy Michael there was he was a really good guide and like just a lot of fun. He also made us try like cheese and stuff, explained the whole of Amsterdam really well. I kind of had like the English experience. There's this one scene where Sridevi wants something at some cafe, and this woman is really rude to her because she can't speak English really well. And that was not the case with me. I could speak English, but the menu was not in English, and I'm vegetarian, so I didn't want to like order the wrong thing. But the guy at the counter was like a little rude and impatient with me. But I mean, you experience both sides. Like some people are really nice, some people can be a little rude. But that's okay, and that's also something that I will figure out as I travel more on how to, like, order things better. Those are like the small things. But overall, this trip was amazing. I think this video has become really long, and I've used like the same words all over again, like fun and great and everything, because it has been that amazing. And I don't even remember what all I've spoken about. But that's it for today, guys. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
and her team, and we are walking on the streets of Amsterdam.